First I'm gonna go over Makoto. Reason being is because I'm more familiar with her than I am with Ryu. I'm not really a Ryu main, but I play Makoto more often, so I have a good understanding of this character. Now, when it comes to playing Makoto, I mean, there's two preferences for supers that you have. The first one obviously is you can hit confirm with this super. It has a good amount of range. I mean, it can be used for reversals. The startup on it is zero frames, so you know it comes out instantly. But aside from that, it's also used against like the weaker characters or characters that are hard to do 100% on with the second super. So this super would be good against first off all the girl characters. So Ibuki, Chun-Li, Makoto, Elena. It would be good against Necro because it's hard to get in. So if he was to use it on his wake up or something, it would be a good move. It would be a good move to hit confirm into. You can use it on Akuma since he has low life. And also you can use it on the twins too, like Yun and Yang. It's preferred to use it on them because they have weak stamina. It can be used for them, and it can also be used for Oro too, since trying to connect the second super is a little wonky. Now you can use by all means you can use the second super on everybody, but in terms of like practicality, like practical use, like you can use the first super on characters that are like hard to get the 100% on for most people who focus on that. So not to mention the fact that it's very easy to stuff out a lot of things with like the hit confirmable moves that she has. So basically the moves that she can use for hit confirming would be like standing strong, which is one of her best moves, on a wake up as a meaty, and it'll stuff out a lot of things, and you can confirm that into super for the first one, and it'll do a chunk of damage. So but the main focus for Makoto is for mix-ups. Like that's her main game. I mean, she has her command grab, she has her low short Hayate mix-ups, she has her normal grab mix-ups, and that alone is just enough to really put a dent in somebody's playstyle. So we're gonna be starting out with the first one and work on with Chun-Li for starters. But so for her normals, well, in this matchup specifically, I already went over it before in another video. But in overall, in every single matchup, Makoto's best normals definitely standing strong. Standing fierce is good for Hayate fakes. So there, aside from standing fierce into Hayate fakes, she has her standing strong. It has, I mean, looking at the frame data for it, it has a lot of it really has a lot of hit advantage. So it has about like seven frames on hit and 8 frames on crouching. Not to mention on block, it's 6+. So considering that it's a good meaty move. I mean, the recovery is better than her standing jab, which is surprising because it's only +4. But it's good because it's a good meaty move to use. It's like it covers a lot of area. Not to mention the fact that you can hit confirm into it. So starting with that, this alone starts like an entire mix-up with her because you can just connect this into standing short. Like that. Now aside from that, you can also do any kind of mix-up from there, like standing strong into low short Hayate fake, standing strong, standing short Hayate fake, or simply standing strong, standing short into Oroshi, and it'll be an entire mix-up that it'll really keep the opponent guessing on whether to jump or to just stay blocking. So looking at that, you just keep this in mind with Makoto. On wake up, one of the best moves to use would be standing strong. So that's her standing normals with like that. Another good one is low strong. First off, obviously, because it has a good amount of range on it, and you can also cancel Hayate from it. And in some points you can actually also hit confirm it too. You can depending on how fast you are, or like if you're anticipating like somebody not blocking, then you can feel free to use it that way. It won't be too severe to catch a blocked Hayate, because 9 times out of 10 the opponent won't expect that. So if you miss it once in a while, then it's no big deal, depending on the character that you fight against. But if you manage to catch somebody with a low strong Hayate, or any Hayate for that matter, you can confirm it into super like that. So like that. So those are one of the few examples that you have with their punch normals. Now her low short is one of her good normals, as it has a good amount of range too. Her standing short is perfect for counter command grabs. So basically you do it really fast. You do standing short and buffer the command grab, which is half circle back like that. So basically you would come up with certain setups like low short fakes or something into counter command grab, and it'll really catch somebody off guard. So for example, one good setup that works on a few characters, like this one works on Shotos, it works on Chun-Li. I'm not really sure who else it works on, but this setup, standing strong twice into counter command grab, works really well on these kind of characters. So you would do 2 standing strongs, and as you can see, it spaces out perfectly. It spaces out perfectly enough for her standing short into command grab. So but yeah, as you can see, I mean, I'm messing up a little bit, because it's very easy to press the button like this rather than to just press neutral and then buffer. So you have to be really careful to make sure you press the button and then buffer the motion. So that's her shorts. Low short is really good. You can do Hayate fakes. And it's one of her primary mix-ups after a command grab, so you can do and then go into it like that. So that's her low short. Her standing short, like I said before, it has a good amount of range. It can actually punish certain things, like a couple of things from Oro, obviously, but you can also use it as a counter move. So basically, if you're too far for a regular Hayate, you can do a counter Hayate like that, and it'll give you much more range. As you can see, it gives like a good chunk of range. So now, if you're having trouble at doing the counter, just you know, for starters, just get used to pressing the short without a button, without a direction. Excuse me. So just get used to it like this, and then after it, take it one step at a time. So do standing short, and then after you press the short, you buffer the motion. Like that, and then once you get through with that, you put it all together with the last button. And same concept with her character command grab. So you start with the standing short, and then do the motion for the command grab, and then put it together. And basically that's the way you would put it together. But so yeah, that's her low short, her standing short, and I'll get to the forward moves later. Her low forward and standing forward are really good moves. I mean, her standing forward is good for some anti-airs. Like if they're jumping back in the corner, you can probably use it as a setup for a counter command grab. So I'll show you. Just get her into the corner. So from here, you can go like that, and you see that distance that you have. Say if you're like right here, you would have enough space to do a counter command grab, like that. But obviously the character is still jumping, so. But this is just an example of a setup you can do. You can also use standing strong as an anti-air too, and combine it with their EX Tsurugi, or EX Fukiage, excuse me, in case they parry it. So let me show you. I have no meter. Good meter building moves, standing strong obviously, and low forward. Well, let's see. From whiffing a standing strong, you get 2, and from whiffing a low forward, you get 2 as well. Yeah, they're both the same. But I would say use let's see. Use her. Her standing strong is probably better because it has less recovery on it. It's only 4 frames of recovery, so you have enough time to press it again. Even though it has one frame extra startup compared to low forward, but they're both the same thing. So you know, whichever floats your boat, you know. So anyways, back to this concept. You can do standing strong as an anti-air, also low forward as well, standing forward too. Now, what I was saying before, you can use standing strong as an anti-air, and if they try to jump in on you, you can use it like that. So it's one of, and then go into jump fierce for lots of stun. Now put it on random. As you can see, it's really good because it goes behind her. And from there, if you get the jump fierce, you get about half stun, and you know you can continue your rush down. You can also use standing fierce as an anti-air if they neutral jump or something. So it's all about mixing up what you do in terms of like if they're jumping in on you, obviously you'd have to mix up your anti-airs, but also keep in mind that you want to make sure that you get that offensive feel to it. So if you're like anti-airing somebody with Makoto, you don't really want to just anti-air them like just simply like that. You really want to keep that offensive mindset going. So you want to just keep it going, so you can obviously get that stun that you want. So it's one of the big things with her that you want to rush the opponent down to get that stun. So because her combos obviously do a chunk of damage. So one example of a regular combo would be her jumping move into EX. So jump roundhouse, standing fierce into EX Hayate does 54 points of damage, and that's like about 25% of life and about half stun bar. So it's a really good idea to maintain that rush down. Not to mention the fact that you also get the mix up of a regular grab, low short into Hayate, standing strong into Hayate, or a simple command grab. And this automatically leads into standing fierce into EX Hayate for extra damage. So these are the things to keep in mind when you want to play with her effectively. You want to make sure that you keep that rush down going as much as you can. I mean, you do it up to a point where you don't get too crazy, where you don't know what you're doing, but you also have to keep in mind that there are certain things the opponent can do that can stop you altogether. So for example, if Chun-Li was to do like back fierce or something, it stops a lot of things from Makoto, like her low strong or something. But if you're a solid Makoto player, you would realize that Makoto's low fierce actually counters that. So these are the things to keep in mind when you're playing a really rush down type of game with Makoto, because you can't just like dash into something blatantly and then you wonder why you're losing, So that's coming from her anti-air, just standing forward and low forward. Obviously, good anti-air moves. You can use these as mix-ups for command grabs. So, for example, low forward into command grab works. Low forward standing short Hayate works. It doesn't connect, but it works as a mix-up tool. So the only problem with this low forward is that it's treated as like a high move and a low move, so it can be parried both ways, both forward and down. So you really have to be careful with this, and this is where the whole concept of mixing things up with like standing strong, low short, and command grab come in, because you don't really want to do a move like low forward that can get parried both ways and then you get punished for it. So you really want to mix it up with other things like that. Now her low roundhouse is good for anti-airs too. It's actually good for pressure wise too, because most characters tend to backdash on Makoto. So it's really good for stuffing out backdashes, and not to mention it does a lot of stun. Her standing roundhouse is also good too. Say if you're at like this type of range, it has a point to it where it can be used as a kara, but a backwards kara, meaning that if you was to do it, it pushes her back a little bit. So you'll see that I'm gonna do the Fukiage, and I'm gonna do a Kara with the roundhouse, and you'll see that it's actually pushing me back. Now, because of this little pushback that she has, for example, if you was to go in for a grab or something, or a command grab, this is actually good for beating out grabs, or beating out any type of backdash that they do as well. So for example, you to knock them down, do low short, and then standing roundhouse is actually a good tactic, because they will try to grab you after the low short, or simply just a meaty roundhouse will work too. So I mean, looking at the frames for it too, I mean, you'll realize that these moves actually have a lot of priority. So yeah. So her standing roundhouse, it's 0 on block, so it's safe. It has a good chunk of startup. It has 11 to 12 frames on startup, but the damage it does is really good. Interesting that her low forward has as much recovery as her standing roundhouse. Excuse me, her standing forward has as much recovery as her roundhouse. But anyways, looking at all of this right here, I'll show you. You know, you can see which normals are perfect for using to combine with her Karakusa, her command grab, because as you can see, they all have different startups. The short one, 7 frames on startup, but it also has the least range, 53 for range, and her roundhouse, which has the most range, 61, but it has the largest startup. So you would want to look at these startup frames in accordance with these normal frames, these normal move frames. So for example, standing jab, it has a block advantage of +2. So, you know, combining this with our short command grab, the opponent would have at least, what is it, like about 5 to 6 frames to jump out or press a button. So using this type of data with your gameplay, you can definitely see the types of things that the character can do. So for example, in this matchup, Chun-Li, one of her fastest moves is her low jab. So for example, if you used to do like a standing jab into her command grab, there's not much she can do. She can't really do a back fear. She can't really do a I don't believe she can do a standing roundhouse. I would have to check her startup for a roundhouse again. But yeah, so you know, there's that little 5-frame space in between that. So you'll see that I'm gonna do a mix-up on her, and you know, her 2-frame move will beat it out. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna do a recording. I'm gonna do standing jab into command grab, and you can see that it beats it cleanly. Now, it beats it cleanly because those 5 frames that she has in between, you know, her low jab is about 2 frames, so obviously it'll beat it out really quick. Now, looking at another setup, like I showed over here, I highlighted her 2 normals, 2 of her best normals to use. So for example, right here, the block advantage is 2. Let me make it bigger. So her block advantage is 2. Now for her standing strong though, it's +6. So for example, if I was to use that with her short command grab, her short command grab is about 7 to 8 frames. So she would have, you know, at least 2 frames to punish. So that's just as much as her low jab. Now I'm gonna look at it over here. Look at Chun-Li's low jab. Yeah, it's +2 on startup. So this setup will either beat it cleanly, will either stuff out the low jab, or it'll get beat by it. So it's gonna be a little tough to figure it out, but you know, we'll see. Did it too early. So as you can see, if I try to time it, it won't work. Or at some points it will, but only on like the certain startup frames, which is really quick. Now as you can see before, that when I try to like just react to it, you know, you would have to really wait until like the midpoint of the startup. But if you press it anywhere else, it barely beats it. So that's only considering that Chun-Li would do low jab. But I mean, this is one of the quickest normals in the game. So you know, if you see a Chun-Li do something like that, you know, they can probably mash it and it'll beat it out cleanly or something. But aside from that, there's not really anything else that Chun-Li can do, or any character can do for that matter, unless they jump out. So for example, if I try a move like, let's see, a move that has more startup than 2 frames, like let's see, well, we can try her standing short. Her standing short, and then her standing roundhouse. Now I'm gonna be standing for this now. Actually, the reason being, it's a little weird for Chun-Li because she's getting pushed back a lot more. So I'm gonna put this in the corner, and you'll probably be able to see it better. Not to mention the fact that, you know, when a character is hit, you know, they tend to recover, you know, like right there, and it's hard. It makes it harder to connect the command grab. So you'll see that you know, any delay in the move, and it'll beat out the roundhouse. Now if I'm crouching, I can't do anything at all, aside from low jab, obviously. So those are just a few examples that you have when it comes to doing her, you know, a normal into a command grab, because, you know, those are the basic ways to get her command grab. I mean, you can obviously do it on wake up too, but there are certain things the opponent can do to get out of that. Now, when it comes to like rushing down, you will eventually have to mix up a normal with a command grab. But aside from that, if the way you should think about it is, if you can connect the normal against the character, then you can either cancel it or go into a Hayate, like right there. So you have those two options. So you might as well keep your offense by just going into the Hayate or faking it and then trying again. So for example, you can do something like dash and then command grab, since it allows you to buffer the motion as you dash. So that's just one example. So that's just the main concept of doing like a meaty move into a command grab. There's other variations to it. You can mix it up with her low forward, her standing jab, obviously. And maybe her standing fierce, because you can cancel it from the Hayate, but I wouldn't recommend it. So now back to the normals. Obviously, I went over all the normals. The standing jab, low jab, standing strong, low strong, standing fierce, and low fierce. Standing short, low short, standing forward, low forward, and standing roundhouse and crouching roundhouse. Now, she also has another set of normals, obviously the forward ones. And these have particular uses. They're not really used like all around during a match. Depending on which normal you want to use, it's very situational, like very specific on the situation. So for example, like if you were to sweep Chun-Li like right here, you can cancel her forward roundhouse by holding it. It's sort of like Ken's fake. So you would hold it and it would inch her forward like half screen, and then you can connect it into command grab. Like that. There's that. Her forward isn't really used because, you know, she has a lot of startup on it. I mean, she literally takes almost a dash length forward and then finally unleashes a normal. So that's not really recommended. Her forward short is actually good because it has a good amount of range on it. So as you can see, you could be like right here. You could be about right here, and it'll hit. And it also does a little chunk of stun. It's also perfect to use against certain characters like the Shotos. You would do standing fierce EX Hayate into forward short, and it resets them. So you have a lot of options to do anything after that. So you can do, for example, something like Karakusa, fierce punch into EX Hayate, forward short, and then probably do a Kara command grab. So yeah. I'm messing it up. Like that. And as you can see, it lands right as when she gets reset, so it's a really good mix-up to use if you think that, you know, they're just gonna be afraid to block. Like, just be afraid and just stand there and block. So it's little setups like this that you would have to learn like in game, like while watching the opponent. So for example, you used to do something like this. You can also dash and do standing jab into command grab. It's a setup that I use personally. You can do and then EX Tsurugi like that. You can also do standing short into EX Orochi and as an overhead. And you know, these are all the options you have when it comes to mixing up the opponent. I mean, you have a high move, a move that they would have to block high, another move that they would have to block high, a move that they would have to jump for, or simply just another low roundhouse and just mix it up into another command grab. So obviously all these mix-ups, you know, they can be confusing by themselves, but you know, the most important part is for you to keep the opponent in the corner, and deal as much damage as you can. So those are her normals. Now for her specials, obviously Hayate, her comboable move. You can connect it with a low short, low forward you can't connect it with, low roundhouse you can't connect it with. The preference is to use a low short, standing strong, or standing fierce to connect it, or low strong to connect this move. Now aside from that, you can also cancel it by pressing kick. So you can hold it for about 2 seconds and it'll knock them down. So you can hold it, press any kick, and it'll cancel. Now this one tactic is actually good because in case you want to play a footsie game with a character like Ken or something, you can use it to bait out a low forward or something, or any long range poke, and you can punish it with Hayate. So for example, I'm gonna do a whiff low forward with Ken while holding it, and you can see it, and you can hold it, and you can see that it'll punish, and then just go into your mix-up from there. It's one of the ways you can get in perfectly. So you know, don't rule out the fact that you can just simply do a Hayate from long distance, because you can also cancel it, so it's relatively safe unless the opponent is right in your face, obviously. So aside from that, you know, her EX Hayate, I don't really do it that much. I only do it against certain characters that like to press a lot of buttons, like on you know, to try to hold me back by like doing low short or something. So for example, something like this. That would be like the only time that I would do EX Hayate, because obviously everything else a lot of other things would get punished by it, so it's really difficult to get in. So it's only in this type of instance where I would do EX Hayate. I mean, other people like to do it like if they're like this far away, they would just do it like this. But I don't really recommend it because it's very easy to jump out from that distance, or simply just jump back and they can punish you for it. So that's one of the reasons why I don't do it. But you know, there really is no reason to waste the EX meter like that, because it's better out just to like just do standing short Hayate fakes to get in. So it's one of those things that I wouldn't really recommend, because I mean, you know, if they block it, then the most you're gonna get is like this, but you wasted EX meter, so it's gonna be a little weird to you know, to work with less meter than what you have, because meter with Makoto is really important, especially if you have the second super or even the first super. So I wouldn't really recommend just wasting the super like that, or wasting the meter, excuse me. So you know, there are other ways to get in. I mean, most people tend to rule out the fact that Makoto can walk for some reason. I mean, she has a slow walk, but I mean, it's really good in case you want to play footsies. So if you want to like walk like this and then just space yourself out perfectly, then that's fine. Because it allows you to not walk into things, so you can just keep outside this range and then just, you know, inch up slowly. So it's one of those good things. It's sort of like, it's similar to Ryu, like in Street Fighter 4, where he would like walk up low forward, you know, because he would inch forward and just like space himself perfectly to at max range for a low forward. Now it's the same concept with Makoto, because you can just space yourself for low strong or low fierce, and if you miss it, you can, if you're unsure of it or if you doubt yourself, you can just cancel it if you want, and then from there, that's when you can dash and then into grab or command grab or do whatever you want. So you really have to pick your place with this and just make sure that you know, don't be afraid to walk, because I mean, even though she has one of the quickest dashes in the game, you still have to be able to remember that, you know, she can walk, she can space herself out, and you can still play a solid game with her. So now, aside from that, I covered her. I don't think I covered her forward strong or forward fierce. But anyways, I'll cover it really quick. Her forward strong, obviously, it can be hit confirmed into her first super. So if you're really itching for that super, you can not really abuse this move, but you can definitely use it a lot, because it's perfect for spacing out. So you can use like a mix-up, like low short Hayate fake into forward strong. And as you can see, it has a good amount of range. I mean, you could be like right here, and you can connect into super. So that's one of the good things about it. Now on the opposite end, you have her forward fierce, which can be used for long distance footsies. So if you're expecting somebody to throw out a poke, you can use this move to stuff it out, because it has a lot of active frames. And not to mention, it inches her forward, so and then it inches her backwards to where she normally was. So it's a really good normal to use if you want to, say if you're like a half screen, you would want to hit the character. You can do something like that. It definitely beats out just doing random EX Hayates, so don't be afraid to use this as well. I mean, you can also connect it with other ones, but you would have to be closer. So those are her far normals. Now her next EX or special moves that are widely used are her jump in Tsurugis. This is her forward Tsurugi and her roundhouse. Those are the most preferred ones, mainly because, you know, her short one is like really easy to parry, because it comes out like almost instantly. And not to mention the fact that it doesn't do that much damage compared to this, where, you know, it does good damage and it has a lot of recovery, it has a lot of stun to it. So basically, if the character blocks it, they'll be in block stun like for a good amount of time. So we'll check on that. Apparently they're all the same, except in terms of damage, except in terms of startup too. But you know, obviously it's all the same concept. It doesn't really give a recovery on it, so it's kind of hard to tell. But you know, I would personally say that I use her forward Tsurugi and her roundhouse Tsurugi. So if I want to get a knockdown, I would use the roundhouse, But if I just want to pressure the opponent, I would use forward. So, you know, I mean, I guess it's okay to use her other ones, but in my opinion, because it comes out really fast, it becomes really easy to parry. So I don't really recommend it. But you know, it's however way you would want to play her. So now, her EX Tsurugi is 2 hits. But most people tend to just do it on the first, like in the beginning of a startup of a jump. So you know, they would do it like that. And most of the time they would use it as a mix-up. For example, like low short Hayate into EX Tsurugi. And it's one of the primary mix-ups they use, you know, simply because not only are you in the air, and you know, you're right above the opponent, so it makes it easier for you to be safe. But you know, you get to avoid all the like, you know, the aspects of the other player where they would like try to do a low jab or low forward or something to stop your rush down or dash in. So if you're expecting somebody to press a button or do something after a low short Hayate, then you can definitely use this to stop them. But obviously you'd have to do it really, really fast. So jump and then do it. Now another thing you can do is there's actually an option select with this move with the command grab. I believe it's where you knock the opponent down and basically you do the EX Tsurugi, but you do a half circle motion like that. I believe I remember the motion to it. Basically, you would do a buffer parry first, and then do a normal jump into EX Tsurugi. But basically, what this does is, if you get the buffer parry, the motion for the half circle back will come out, and since you're pressing 2 EXs, two kicks, you will get a command grab. Now, if the opponent doesn't do anything, you would get an EX Tsurugi like that. So I'm gonna do something like I'm gonna try to set this up. Alright, so I'm going to show the first option where I'm going to dash in and then do it. Like that. That's one part. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but with her pressing a button. And it should work. It's a little... let me mix this up. The opposite. Yeah. So as you can see, if I don't do anything, she gets the EX Tsurugi. But if I press a button, she should get a parry. There we go. Little timing differences. So basically on the dash that she does, you buffer the parry like that, and if you get the parry then you'll get the command grab, but if you don't get anything then you get the EX Tsurugi. So it's all like, it's considered an option select. It's, you know, the motions are a little weird to do because you'd have to do forward, up, forward, and then all the way down to back. So, you know. But that's one of the options select that Makoto has against characters that or against players that like to you know, press a button on wake up or just block low on wake up. You know, I mean, it beats out like a couple of options. So if they try to shore you, obviously you're jumping, so it won't really catch all of it. If they try to low tech, then you'll get the buffer parry. And you know, if they try to do a low forward or something, then you get the EX Tsurugi, and that beats it out completely too. So, you know, it's one of those things that deals with you know, the options that the opponent has to stop your rush down, and that's basically the main concept of it. It all goes back to the same game plan that Makoto has, and that's to keep her rush down going. So if you can find a way to, you know, to maximize the way, you know, the way you do it in certain situations, then you can definitely mix up your opponent properly by It's also preferred to use it with down, because obviously when you go down to up forward, it can actually be considered a buffer parry low. So I believe this is actually the way to do it, to buffer the parry low and then do it. So you would go like that. And basically what this does is the down parry covers the direction for up forward. So basically, you know, the frames that you're parrying the down move, like, or a low jab or something like that, you would automatically like cover the up forward, so it wouldn't come out. And from there, the game would register the, you know, the half circle back motion, and just give you the command grab from it. So you would get the down parry, and then go into command grab. Whereas if you don't get anything, you get the super jump into EX Tsurugi. So that's another way to do it. The way I was doing it before was I was forward parrying first, and then I was doing it. I mean, it's a little more difficult to do it that way, but you know, it's all the same concept. So that's her Tsurugi. I mean, her Orochi is a good move for an overhead. Her normal ones can go into super. If they buff her parry, you can still go into super. You can do the same thing for her second super. You can do like Kurosoku back fierce and connect it into her second super, but only on certain characters like Hugo or something. But for everything else, like with the first super, you can use this move and, you know, go into super like that. The only problem is the startup is ridiculous. So, you know, if you was to use this move, you know, be prepared for the opponent to either jump, block, or parry it, or even stuff you out of it because of the startup. So, you know, try not to use this move like, you know, all the time. I would prefer to use the EX because it's really fast and you can mix it up with a lot of things. And it has a lot of recovery to it. I mean, it has a short recovery to it too, so you can buffer parry afterwards and then just do what you want. Like that, and then buffer parry and then go fierce until whatever. So that's her EX Orochi. One over EX Tsurugi, one over EX Hayate. And that's about it. I mean, her command grabs, obviously I went over before that her roundhouse one has the most range, while her short one has the shortest range. But her short one has the quickest startup, while the roundhouse has the longest startup. So, you know, those are things to look out for. When jumping, now jumping is one of the big things too, because a lot of characters tend to stuff out Makoto's dash-ins. So obviously the next best thing would be to jump in. Now her jumping moves would consist of her jumping roundhouse. Jumping roundhouse would normally be used for like air-to-air moves. You know, it's really fast. It covers a lot of range, and you know, it recovers quickly. So if you was to do it really fast, you can buffer parry afterwards, and you'll be safe from any other air-to-air move. Another one would be her jump fierce, because not only does it cover a lot of range, you know, you can see that I would normal jump forward, wait a little bit, and then press it, and you'll see that it clocks her on the head. It's pretty similar to Dudley's jump in roundhouse, whereas you know, the move starts up rather quickly, or at least it has a lot of range to cover. This is really this like dash up back fierce, jump back fierce is really good against characters like Urien, Hugo, like the big characters that tend to grab on wake up. So for example, you would go for a mix up like low short Hayate, and then jump back fierce would be a good tactic to use, because you know, it would stuff out their grab or something. Now another one would be to jump back forward, obviously because it has long range. You can do early jumping forward. It has a good amount of active frames, so if you was to do it even early, it would hit. So as you can see, I would do it as soon as I jump, and it would hit. Now the thing is with this, against certain characters like Ken or something, if you used to do it early and they would parry, and they automatically go into a low forward, the low forward that they do would miss. So it's actually not a bad thing to use when it comes to jumping in. But as long as you don't get you know, don't get too obvious with it, then you know, then you'll be fine. I mean, along with this, you can also do Tsurugi, which is a really big mix-up because, you know, they would be expecting to parry the jumping forward, and, you know, you would automatically do this. So it's one of those mix-ups in the airs that allow you to, you know, dash in or, you know, gain some ground on the opponent. Jump short. Aside from jumping forward, jump back forward, jump in fierce, jump back fierce, jump back roundhouse, there's really nothing else to use in terms of normals. Now, when it comes to doing the combos, obviously every character in the corner has a different juggle property. So, for example, with Chun-Li, if you was to do an EX Hayate, you can do a jab Hayate afterwards. Whereas with some characters like the Shotos, some moments you can catch them with the Hayate, but I believe you have to carry it, but I'm not really sure how to do that right. But I mean, some people use like standing forward as the reset. Some people use forward short as a reset. Some people use the Hayate as a reset, and some people just use low strong too. This actually works on characters like Necro or 12, I believe. But yeah, so just it depends on the character, pretty much. With you against, so let's cover it here. Against a character like Alex, you can actually, since he's a big character and with a good chunk of a hitbox, his juggle properties are a little different. So you can do an EX Hayate and then connect into Standing Fierce, Hayate fake, and you know, it'll reset him. So like that. And then from there you can mix up whatever, like that. There's the low strong that I was telling you about. They're standing forward. Against certain characters you can do strong Hayate to connect, but some other characters like Chun-Li who drop rather quickly, you'd have to do jab Hayate. So you know, you'll eventually figure that out as you play more. But it's standing forward. Yeah, right, that doesn't work. Standing strong will work sometimes. But the optimal one to use here, pretty sure you can do, yeah, you can do crouching roundhouse. But as I said, the optimal one to use would be Standing Fierce, because you can fake it and then go into a counter command grab and then go into it again for the free stun. So it all depends on the character that you play against. The Shotos, they all have, they can all be hit with standing forward after a EX Hayate in the corner. Ibuki can be hit with forward short. I think standing forward too, I'm not really sure. Necro low strong you can use, or forward short. Urien you can use strong Hayate. The twins you can use forward short. Remy you can use short jab Hayate, excuse me. And I picked Makoto for no reason. I mean, picked Oro for no reason. Q you can use Hayate. Chun-Li, as I shown before, you can use Hayate. Makoto you can use Hayate. I think 12 you can do the same. You can use Hayate too, but if that doesn't work, then you can probably use forward short or standing forward. Hugo you can use standing fierce or Hayate. Elena, you can use jab Hayate. Dudley, you can use standing forward. Oro, God. Oro, you can only use forward short for some reason, I think. Or standing forward. I'm pretty sure you can use standing forward on Sensei. And yeah, all the shoulders you can use standing forward on as well. But that's for the corner combos. Now when it comes to using the second super, if you have at least, what is it? If you have at least this amount of stun, you would automatically get a stun by doing the basic combo. Command grab, standing fierce into forward super, strong Fukiyage, jump fierce, and then into the stun. You can also use roundhouse too, but that all depends on where you are on the screen. So for example, if you're like right here, you can use forward, but if you're at least up to here, like a little bit mid-screen, like right here, you have to use roundhouse. Oh lord. So right here, you would have to use roundhouse. So yeah, just be careful about where you place your supers, because at least from like right here, mid-screen, you definitely have to use roundhouse super. But if you're at least like close, like right here, you can use forward super, and you'll be able to connect it. Now, her 100%, I'm only gonna go over the 100% against the Shoto characters, because with everybody else, it's a little different. But you know, I don't really use the second super on every single character, so it's all a matter of, you know, how you want to play. You know, if you want to be like Tomi Minaga, who gets 100% on every single person, then, you know, be my guest. But I'm sure there's a couple of videos out there that show how to do it. But aside from doing it on certain characters like Chun-Li or something, or like Oro, I'm not really, you know, the expert on that. But you know, in terms of the Shoto characters, like the basic ones, basically what you do is you do the super, and then you do a Kara Fukiyage. Now the Kara that you do it is with roundhouse. I've showed it before earlier in the stream, where if you do a special move with roundhouse, it pushes her backwards. So basically what you do is you do the motion first, and then you press the buttons as a Kara, and you'll see that she actually moves back a little bit. As you can see, she's moving back, and that's what you use when it comes to, you know, after you get the super. Normally you would have to dash, but when you do the Fukiyage, you dash forward, do a reverse shoryuken, and then press the Kara, and it'll push her enough to catch Ken on the outside part of his hitbox, and that'll leave you enough room to dash forward, and then do another reverse shoryuken, going to the first player side with jab, and then you'll get the 100% like that. So I'll show it right here. I'll wait till his stun goes down. Actually, I'll start over here. You can actually do this anywhere. So you dash forward, it's a little tricky because, as I said before, you have to do it. You have to do the motion first and then press the buttons. A lot of the times, people will press the button. Excuse me. As you're doing the motion, like that. But you literally have to do the motion first and then press the buttons. And it'll give you enough distance to get the carrot out. And there it is. Now notice how I did the Fukiyage early, because you have to have enough time to dash forward and then do the jab Fukiyage. So basically you'll see that she actually starts up the Fukiyage before Ken actually like lands in front of her, and the active frames of the Fukiyage will hit him, and then that'll allow you enough time to cancel into a dash and then do the next one, and you'll be able to get the 100%. So you do it a little bit early, and then there you go. Messed it up. And then you can connect into another one after that. I mean, you can go into another, 100% motion if you want, but it won't be 100% because it's all part of the damage scaling. So, it'll do a good amount of damage, but you're better off just going into a basic combo like jump forward Tsurugi into Hayate 2 times. So jump forward Tsurugi, strong Hayate, then fierce Hayate. I mean, you can also mix this juggle up too. You can do you can also do standing fierce Hayate fake, or standing forward. But I mean, if you want to get the knockdown, then you can do the Hayates, where she can link a bunch of jabs back and forth. Oh, there's probably like a video somewhere where Makoto would do like her forward jabs back and forth after a stun combo, but that's exactly what it is. It's just a stun combo. I mean, it's not really worth to use it because it's not really damage worthy. So it's just for flashiness. So I wouldn't, it's not something that I do, But I mean, if you want to do it, then basically you just do jab, 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 back and forth, and it's nothing crazy. But yeah, so that's that, and you can also mix it up like that. This is fierce Fukiyage. Jump roundhouse, dash up, and then like that. Oh yeah, so that's there's a couple things you can do. You can also do strong Fukiyage, walk up, standing strong, and then dash up into EX Fukiyage, and the EX Fukiyage will actually go under Ken or under the character, and it'll be considered as a hit on the opposite side. And you know, if they're not parrying or blocking, then you know they'll be stunned. Like that, and then you can just for a good chunk of damage. And that's one setup. It hits them on the opposite side. So if I was to do, if they say, for example, if okay, well, let's do this. So you see how Ken is going to be jumping here. I'm on the first player side right now. If I walk under him a little bit, or if I dash, it lands on the opposite side. It lands on the second player side. So it hits them from behind. So basically, if I was on the opposite end, and if I was on the second player side, I would be holding back. And if the Makoto player was to do the mix-up that I just talked about, then I would get hit by it because I'm holding down back, and that's, you know, where the character is gonna land. So, you know, it hits them on the opposite side, so that's where they would have to block. And I think that's it for the character coverage for Makoto. There's not much else that she can cover. I mean, it's mostly about her mix-ups. As I've shown before, like I've showed a chunk of mix-ups that you can do. But it's all left up to imagination. I mean, you can find ways to do something like this. And you know, you can find mix-ups like that. But other things you can also make sure about is the frames that she actually has on her normals, on her specials. So for example, like on a wake up, a meaty EX Orochi will beat out a lot of Shoryukens. But if they parry it, you can go into super. Like that. You can do something like that. So it's one of those things to research when you want to get better with this character. I mean, these are just the basics that I'm covering. So, and if there are any requests to do like matchup coverages, feel free to send me a message on YouTube or on the group page, or you know, just request a matchup that you want me to cover, and I'll do it. So I already covered Chun-Li, for those of you that are wondering. I covered Chun-Li, and I think that's it. Yeah, I covered Chun-Li, but there are other characters too. But you know, Makoto is by no means a bad character. So she's one of the highest tier characters too. She's like top 4 or top 5. So you know, she's a really good character to use. So, but yeah, so that's Makoto.